Welcome everyone. My name is Connie Nugent. I am the Divisional Dean for Student Academic Affairs in the best college on campus, CNAS. And it's my pleasure to welcome Dean Uhrich.
Thrilled to see this room packed full. This building opened during times of COVID, and so we haven't had to have the full use of this yet. And it's really wonderful to get the energy and the joy and the passion for coming to UCR here today. My name is Kathryn Uhrich. I am the Dean of the College of Natural and Agricultural Sciences, or CNAS for short. CNAS is actually very unique in it's the only college in the United States, we think perhaps the world, in which all the sciences are under one umbrella. So we have various divisions. We have math and physical sciences, we have the life science and biology, and we have our agricultural sciences, which means we have our regular academic departments all under one roof. We also have about 30,000 acres of what we call our natural reserves, which is the equivalent of national parks where you can actually go and do research and learn. We also have about 1,000 acres of what we call ag ops or agricultural operations. So you'll see all the citrus trees and the collections as you're driving to campus. So these are also living laboratories for us. So you would have the opportunity to go and take a statistics class, take a genomics class and learn about genomic sequencing, and then potentially go out in the fields and see how this is going to be impacted. So we're really proud of the range of possibilities that we have here at UCR. I should, looking at my notes and making sure I stay on time, I should begin with congratulations for getting into UCR. It is an extremely competitive college to get into and campus to get into. And so we're really, really happy to have you here. So we have a lot of things planned for you, being the royal we here on campus. So be sure to take advantage of all the resources and activities that we have here today and really get to know UCR. We have students here. We have student ambassadors who are in their blue polo shirts. You're going to hear more about them. You're going to see them wandering around campus, giving tours. Take advantage, ask them the tough questions. Like, should I really take that Chem 101 class? Yeah, I'm a chemistry person, so of course you should. But you'll have the opportunity to hear from the students, from the faculty, and from the staff. And they're all going to offer their own insights into why you should choose UCR. So from my perspective, CNAS is unique in three significant ways. One, I talk about the broad umbrella of all the sciences that we have. That leads into two, the type of research opportunities you would have here as you come to campus. So again, from statistics all the way into entomology. So you're going to learn a broad range of activities, and our faculty are very excited to bring you in and get you engaged, not just in the classroom, but also in the laboratory, including our living laboratories. And a third area that I know is very unique to the college is the opportunity to participate in a learning community. And you're going to hear more about this. But basically, a learning community is designed to offer incoming students, freshman students, a supportive environment, a chance to make friends, to form student groups, and participate in various campus activities. So as a first-year CNAS student, you'd be grouped with other first-year students, and you'd be taking a math course and other sciences course together throughout the entire year. So it's an built-in peer group or study buddy group that you would have. And it also gives you the opportunity to form more meaningful connections with professors. So for example, I teach a learning communities class. I teach it every fall for the freshmen coming in. I love it. And I'm particularly happy that this is my first year, that one of my learning community students who came in, joined after her freshman year, is graduating this year. So I'll just say, so for my learning community, one of the things that I do is I teach them how to, what it means to do research. They have to put together a LinkedIn profile. I teach them, how to shake hands, which I think is important when you're meeting faculty for the first time. That was pre-COVID. So I had gone through and I knew what my learning community students were capable of and what they could do. So when I'm looking for research in my laboratory, first thing I do is reach out to my learning community group. All right, freshmen, I have this opportunity starting this summer. And this person actually joined after her freshman year. And so she's been the longest researcher in my laboratory. She is training graduate students how to do research. She is training them how to do the laboratory experiments that we do. And that's a phenomenal opportunity. She also joined the honors community at a later stage and graduated with honors with a capstone project. So I'm a fan, and I know it is very unique. And so I am all in, and I would encourage you to take as many of these opportunities as you possibly can. So after hearing a variety of perspectives throughout the day, I know that you'll have all the information that you'll need, the data that you'll have to make the right decision. And I hope that right decision will be UCR and certainly for CNAS. So again, congratulations on your acceptance to UCR. We're very looking forward to having you join us here this fall. Thank you and congratulations again.
Thank you, Dean Uhrich. All right, guys, I am now going to make the case for CNAS and UCR. So I've been a faculty member here and then administrator more recently for 21 years. And I have to say, I love the students, the staff, and the faculty. The climate here is really supportive, and I love that. So, okay. We'll advance. Be even better. There we go. Okay, so we'll start off. Some quick facts and figures about our college. We have, as of fall, we had 6,734 undergraduate students, 947 graduate students. Most of those are PhD students, 987 faculty and staff. That number is going to continue to grow. We bring in a lot of contracts and grants. This money supports our research endeavor. And I'll also say some of that money is coming in for education, supporting education as well, and student research. Our college has 13 departments, and we have 17 majors. So some departments offer more than one major, some majors are interdisciplinary. Our faculty are amazing. It includes 14 National Academy members. It's incredibly prestigious, a very healthy representation of women in there, I have to say. We have 2 Nobel Prize winners. Our entomology program is #2 in the world, #1 in the US, #2 in the world. I know I have students say, ooh, that means it's going to be harder to get in there or to interact with those faculty. Not true. Those faculty are so engaged with our students. So yeah, even if you're in biology, you can do research with their entomology faculty. We're famous for our citrus research. Our plant biology department is among the best in the world. And our campus has created more than 40 citrus varieties, including some that you guys probably eat, like the cuties. That comes from us. So undergraduates, as Dean Uhrich mentioned, get involved in research. We encourage that, and we encourage that from the very start. And I'll come back to that again and again. But I also want to say there's a lot of collaboration between our disciplines and departments. And I'll give you examples of that as we go on. So here are our 17 majors. The newest major is data science. It's pretty small right now, but we expect this one will really grow. This is a collaboration between our statistics department and the engineering computer science department. So it's kind of a joint degree. We also now have 2 BSMS programs. These are 5-year programs where you complete a master's. If you're not already in that program, coming in as a first year, you apply as a junior to get accepted. So therefore, entomology and statistics. I want to talk about, some of our majors are pretty small. So like entomology doesn't have a lot of students in it, neither does plant biology, and physics is fairly small as well. And these majors really take advantage of those numbers to create close ties with their students. So this is an example of a research seminar that Dr. Barry Barish gave, a couple years ago, pre-pandemic. The undergraduates are invited to participate in these research seminars as well.
So we like to include undergraduates, graduate students at the continuum across the continuum. An example of how our majors cross disciplines. We have a really strong applied math group on campus. And this is a slide from Dr. Mark Albert in the math department. And so one of his projects was to mathematically model plant cell development. So he's collaborating with faculty in our botany and plant sciences department. And so doing research projects together, our undergraduates get involved in this research all the time. Want to talk a little bit about some of the highlights of our majors and curriculum. Just like the innovation we do in our research labs, we are also always trying to innovate in our curriculum, trying to improve the education for our students. The last couple of years with the pandemic has added even more directions to try to go. But one example here is some of our chemistry classes take like case study approaches to learning chemistry. So think of like in medical school, we do a patient case study to learn about different processes. This is in chemistry, taking a problem and then learning the chemistry associated with it. So we're taking real world problems and learning how to apply the science to that. Our mathematics department is always innovating, and even before the pandemic, they were coming up with ways to add tutorials to put online for students to have extra resources. So they use this looking glass studio technology and created these videos of people working through problems together. It's kind of like Khan Academy, but actually I think better. Now, one thing we do a lot of in this college is encourage hands-on learning. So through research in labs, but through our curriculum as well. So one example is in introductory biology course. That first introductory biology course, we have a lab called Dynamic Genome. The students in there are doing authentic research. They partner with a faculty who has a research project where they need sequence data. And so the students in the class will learn how to isolate the DNA from whichever organism it is that they're studying, do PCR, sequence, and then analyze that sequence. And that data feeds into the professor's research project. So it's authentic research that they do as freshmen in their biology class. We also have a lot of majors that have capstone research labs or projects that are required as part of the major. These are listed up here. So it's not just at the undergraduate level, but also at the upper division level, we get students involved in high impact hands-on learning. A number of our majors offer field trips, field research courses. So some of our students today are off. There's a field trip for our ornithology class. I believe there's a wildflower class that has field trips today as well. But a lot of courses have field trips, and we do take advantage of the natural reserves for these as well. So as a UC, we have access to these natural reserves. We use them. There's actually a course called California Ecology and Conservation, where the students spend a quarter going and learning and doing field research in different UC natural reserve systems up and down the state. So it's a small class. The students are traveling in, I think, 2 vans together. And it's kind of like study abroad, but study at UC. And so it's very cool. Students love that class. But then for our campus, we also take advantage of the world's largest citrus variety collection for research and courses. And biology receives specimens from the San Diego Zoo. So we have collaborations all over. Our upper division classes can be more specialized and really interesting. I'm giving you an example of one that's really popular A lot of our students come here because they're interested in going into a health profession. And cancer biology is one of our really popular upper division classes for these students. And Dr. Sladek developed this class. She teaches it from starting off from a perspective of environmental toxicology, then gets into really the cell biology of cancer, and at the end talks about treatments and other policies. So it's a really interesting class. Okay, I'm going to switch from majors and curriculum over to how do we support our students. So we have academic advising teams that are comprised of professional academic advisors. You may have been ushered in here by the director of our advising team here. And we also, each major will have faculty advisors as well, and we work together as teams. This picture here is from last week. This is some of our professional advisors. We decided to have a meet and eat session because we're back in person and we're so excited about reestablishing those connections. So we invited students to stop by and just chat. So our advisors do developmental advising and help connect students with resources across the campus. And we get, through our learning communities in part, students get connected with their advisors early on in their first year. So as Dean Uhrich mentioned, we have a lot of programming to ensure student success. And so I'm going to walk through some of this and I'll tell you more detail about our learning communities in a moment. So we have them for first year students throughout their entire first year. We put students in academic learning communities. Transfer students who come in, also, we try to put those students in learning communities. We have faculty discovery seminars for students to connect with faculty. The advising I mentioned, we also have peer mentoring and peer advising. And then the Academic Resource Center supplies a lot of additional resources and support for students. So let me talk a little bit about our freshman learning communities. There's a lot of different types of learning communities that can be out there. But starting, it was like 14 years ago, our college started tinkering with figuring out what kinds of interventions would help students succeed in their first year. So the way we do our learning communities now came out of a study we did where some people were in the learning communities, some students were not. And what we saw was a boost in GPA for the students who participated in the learning communities. But this is the real kicker. The long-term impact was that students who participated in our learning communities were 2 times as likely to graduate in 4 years. That's huge. There's many reasons that could go into why there was such a strong impact on time to degree. But with that kind of data, we said, all right, we need to invest in making sure that all students can get into the learning communities. So students right now, when you come into our college, you are automatically placed in a learning community. So we group you by your math placement, and then all students will be in the same math, and then by major. And then we also have co-enrollment in 1 additional class. So it can be chemistry or biology in that first quarter. Then each quarter through your first year, you and 23 other students are taking same math, same chemistry, same biology, but you're in the same lecture, you're in the same lab, you're in the same discussion, you're in the same supplemental instruction section, because for the hardest courses, we also supply a supplemental instructor who's a undergraduate who comes in and gives extra, study habit tips and support for students. So it's intense. And then in the fall or winter, You'll meet 1 hour each week with an advisor and 1 hour a week with a faculty member in that cohort. So it is intensive. And no other UC does this. Actually, not that many other universities do this level of intensity for our support for our students. And then at the end, you have the opportunity to do research, paid summer research. Tons of different ways to get involved in research. Some of these programs are year-long programs. Some are just over the summer. We help connect you with the programming. It's paid. We want to support you. This is Gina. She's one of the students who participated in research. And I put this up here in part because it's not just doing the research, it's also helping students learn how to communicate science. So she's giving a poster session at one of our symposium here. And I'll come back to that. So research in the college covers a huge range of areas. Everything from, we have a $10 million digital agriculture program that actually is, a lot of that money is towards student support. That's a collaboration with a number of other universities, but that's bringing in computer science, math, plant biology, soil chemistry. It's working on with some Indian reservations, agriculture, to focus, come up with ways to focus watering. That's one of the first parts of it. We've just completed the first year of that. But faculty study, climate change and look at, will our Joshua trees go extinct? When? Professor Hailing Jin studies the citrus greening disease you may have been aware of. And from our citrus variety collection, she found this, one of the really wild lime species that we has a peptide, so a small protein that prevents and treats this citrus greening disease. So it's a huge find with potential for major impact on the citrus industry. Prue Talbot studies the impacts of cigarettes, firsthand, secondhand, thirdhand smoke, and then vaping more recently. One of our students who will be on our panel today, Daresh, has been involved in that research. We have Ryan Julian, who's a chemistry faculty, looking at how proteins age and connecting, could Alzheimer's be connected with lysosomal storage diseases? Professor Gillian Wilson asked questions like, why do galaxies stop forming stars? All right, so again, our students learn to communicate science. We have an undergraduate research journal. They also publish in regular peer-reviewed journals. We have an undergraduate research symposium. Importantly, we have excellent mentoring for students to receive this really prestigious fellowships like the Goldwater or Fulbright. Our college has a great track record of having at least one student get the Goldwater Fellowship each year for the past several years. Really cool. I encourage you to check out today our other high impact programs at UCR, including Education Abroad, our honors program. STEM students can definitely do education abroad. So it's great. As we come back from COVID, I encourage you to check that out. Lots and lots of resources. We'll talk about some, but one I want to highlight here is the Health Professions Advising Center. It's open to students from across campus. If you're interested in any health-related career, these are additional advisors and student ambassadors that help make sure you're aware of opportunities, getting connected and on track. Really fabulous. I'm running out of time, so tons of STEM-related clubs and organizations, some of which are represented up on the lawn. Some of these clubs are really connected with the department faculty. Some are less so. There's a lot to get involved with for sure. My science ambassadors will be speaking on a panel in a moment, and they can elaborate on some of this as well. So I will end here with This is supposed to be a word cloud that looks like a citrus tree. I need to work on that part a little bit, but the words came from CNAS students where I asked them to describe CNAS. And so these are their words that they put in. And I want to highlight, research, challenging, quality, growth, but collaboration. The students in the college are very collaborative with one another. And I love that about them. They lift everybody up. So with that, I would like to welcome our science ambassadors to come down and all right. So if each of you could just do a quick, name, major, and then we'll do a second round. If you guys want to stand, I'm fine with that. Yeah. We can take a picture. Okay. Duresh, do you want to start?
Yeah. Hi guys. My name is Duresh Bandaru, and I'm a 4th year neuroscience and finance major, and I'm part of the CNAS Ambassadors program.
Hello, everyone. My name is Janelle. I'm a 3rd year. I'm a chem major with a minor in creative writing. I'm so happy to see you all today. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gabriella. I am a 4th year cell molecular and developmental biology major. It's so nice to see you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Saba. I'm a 4th year bio major. I'm also a CNAS Science Ambassador, and I'm so happy that you all are here today.
All right. So if you guys would go around and each one of you want to just take a couple of minutes to say, why did you come to UCR, or what has made your time here, stood out for you? Saba, why don't you start?
Yeah, of course. So I think the biggest thing for me when I was a freshman and trying to figure out where to go to college and whatnot is that I wanted to go to a college that would challenge me and bring me to a new environment. And I think UCR really achieved that for me. And that's the reason why I chose it, because at UCR, I find that I found so many different people to be friends with, to meet with, to learn from, all from different backgrounds, all from different disciplines, so on and so forth. So that's a really big reason why I came to UCR personally.
So as for me, actually around 4 years ago, around this day, I was sitting in your seats and I heard from a lot of science ambassadors talking about why they like coming to UCR. And a lot of that has actually come to fruition for me. Something that I really appreciate about UCR is, like, if you're ever looking for anything, if it's a resource, if it's a mentor, if it's just a community, you're probably already going to have it or experience it. I know we're going to talk about learning communities probably a lot later. But UCR has so many resources on campus for so many different things that even to this day, as a 4th year, I'm still discovering, like, oh man, there's a resource for that. I wish I had learned about that earlier, because there's so many that you can, get involved in, especially too. Another important thing for me was the community. UCR is a big campus. I'm sure a lot of us who are walking around in the heat, we've really discovered how big this campus is. But what's really great about it is that the community here is just like the feel of a small campus. So I've gotten to know so many professors, graduate students, other students who are really, really supportive, and not at all kind of like the cutthroat expectations of especially like a college or university campus. And so that's something that I really appreciated, and I saw on my first day here at Highlander Day coming into my freshman year, and that's really the reason why I wanted to come to UCR.
Yeah, honestly, I had a lot of reasons for wanting to come to UCR. I'm from the Bay Area, and I definitely wanted to be able to get a little away from home, be able to be a little more independent. And coming to UCR was definitely a big reason for that. So it's really nice, being able to find yourself, being able to see, I guess, like how much as a person you're really able to grow when your parents aren't like right next to you all the time. No offense, of course. We love all parents. But it's also, I've always been interested in medicine, and I want to go into medical school. And UCR, has the Thomas Hyder program. They have the new School of Medicine, or relatively new. And honestly, that was one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to go to UCR, because of the medical opportunities I would get as a student. Other than that, I actually did come to Highlander Day as well in 2018. And, we were in another auditorium, and I remember hearing Dr. Nugent give a similar presentation. I remember seeing science ambassadors go up on stage to talk about their experiences. now I feel kind of old since I'm doing the same thing. But it was really cool hearing all of their experiences, taking the tours. I really got to see the personalities of all the different people here at UCR. Now, like all of my closest friends are from UCR, and it's just been a really great opportunity for me to really find myself, get myself down my career path, and it's honestly just been a great ride.
Okay, my turn. So there's a running joke among the CNAS ambassadors that everybody kind of wants to be a doctor. However, I do not. So I came in here thinking I wanted to be a doctor, and then I took my first chem class and I realized, you know what? Being a doctor, not for me, not a people person, really like being in a lab. And I found that UCR was really helpful with that. So I came in thinking, okay, I'm going to go into internal medicine. I really want to go into that. I am very interested in it. I took PChem actually 2 quarters ago, and I realized, oh my goodness, physical chemistry is my thing. It's something that I really want to explore more. It's something that I really want to do. And UCR, the professor that I had, Christopher Bardeen, love that man. He really helped me discover that I had a passion for chemistry and that I had a passion for thermodynamics. Basically, what I'm trying to say is no matter what you choose, no matter what you do here in the College of Natural and Agricultural Sciences, there is a place for you. Somebody is going to help you and somebody's going to lead you in the right direction. And as someone who is very shy, very nervous, I'm shaking right now. It's really nice to have somebody kind of like, you know, maybe not hold your hand, but they'll hold on to your pinky and they'll lead you in the right direction. And that's very nice to have.
All right, let's take some of your questions for, yeah.
So, you know, Riverside is definitely growing a lot as well. We actually have a 7 Leaves like literally half a mile down. That's probably one of my favorite places. But we also have like Ding Tea. We have Boba Tea House, Tim's, Share Tea. So many places within a couple of miles.
Yeah, this is important, right? All right, more questions, yes. Absolutely, yes. Yes, definitely. Yes, you are allowed to have double majors. You're allowed to have minors. These can be from other colleges. I mean, Duresh is an example. His minor's finance. Janelle, yours is creative writing.
Mine is creative writing, so it's completely different than my chemistry. So.
So are you asking, how do students get connected with research? Or? Yeah, so there's a lot of ways to get into research and we'll facilitate that. But Gabriela, do you want to take the—
Sure. The medical school question. Yeah. Like Duresh, I'm actually applying for medical school right now. And something that's really great about the UCR School of Medicine is its priority for its UCR students as undergraduates. There's something called the Thomas Hayter program. And essentially out of, I think, the 70 or so seats that they have at the UCR School of Medicine, around 24, 25 of them are reserved for UCR students. And so out of, you know, the thousands and thousands of students applying from, you know, who knows where, they say basically, okay, we're going to take all of the students at UCR who are applying, put them in a separate pool, and they have 24 seats, which is much less competitive than basically all of the other students from other universities and such. Part of the Thomas Hayter program is also the early assurance program, which I'm sure many of you who are pre-med have maybe heard. The early assurance program is part of the Thomas Hayter program, but a few seats of those 24 seats are essentially reserved for juniors, seniors, and recent graduates to apply. Does not require the MCAT, does not require all of the probably thousands of dollars you may spend applying through AMCAS, which is the normal application cycle pool. And essentially you get early admission into the UCR School of Medicine and you essentially get a guaranteed what's called a gap year or a growth year. So if you're a junior and you apply to this program and you get in, you have your senior year, which is of course guaranteed as your growth year. If you're a senior and you apply, you have basically a gap year after you graduate, and then you can start the School of Medicine, so on and so forth. And so that's essentially, I don't know who asked the question, that's essentially what that is the Thomas Hayter program and early assurance program here.
Yeah, great question. You know, everybody's trying to do that. So this quarter, the vast majority of our classes are back in person. There are some that are online only. So we don't have fully online bachelor's programs. That's not part of what we do. And for like our labs, they really need to be in person. It's much harder to do an online lab. But we do have some courses that are online. And protocols, like if there's another surge in COVID, we've had, you know, now we have structures in place within the administration to be monitoring that. Actually, our college developed a really great testing facility, a fabulous testing facility. Actually, two of our divisional deans were involved in that. And so we do regular monitoring and testing of everybody for safety.
Just
Yeah.
something about that. So we were the only UC that did not have an outbreak on campus because we were so rigorous in our testing.
Yeah.
We set up our testing facilities. These are people who aren't focusing on viruses for people, but we're focusing on viruses for worms and for bugs. But we were able to take these basic science technologies and apply it towards the situation.
Yeah.
We're really proud.
Really proud.
Yeah.
And the testing we set up is, we were able to test for variants as they came out. So it is state of the art. Yeah. Good question. As a first year student, pretty much if you're changing your classes to leave the community, you would be like changing colleges altogether. So that would be the reason why you would have a drastic enough change in your classes that you would leave the learning community. But we like students to be in the right college from the start so that they're on track with that learning community. But that being said, you know, you can be undeclared and be with a group of undeclared students as well. Totally fine. Yeah. Well, they need to not come to class. Do we have, why don't you guys?
We do. So I actually had a friend who got COVID. What they did for her was she lived in Pentland. They set up separate housing altogether, and they put that particular student in isolation. So they took her out of her dorm and put her in an entirely different dorm. And it's that building, I think, or just like structure, was entirely just for students that were in isolation that had COVID, and they were put there until they were tested negative. So yeah, that's basically what they did.
So, I mean, I've always been a neuroscience major, so, you know, no issues for me. But one of my best friends, he was a neuroscience major, then he was a microbiome major, then he was a biochem major, all within a year. So being able to change majors within the same college is definitely not too hard. In fact, you know, I even had a friend who went from biology to computer science this past year. You know, they'll take an extra year to stay, but if you really do want to change majors, you know, our academic advisors are always there to help guide you through this process.
We have special academic advisors that will help for students. Oh, like what do students do after they graduate? Oh, for Career Center. So we do work with the Career Center and a lot on trying to form, you know, internships with companies. So we've got paid internships with the EPA now as well. So we place students all over, you know, med school, vet school, dental, you name it, grad school.
EPA. So it's a pretty long list of good placement. I mean, our goal is to make sure students are getting placed right away and not having to take gap years or extra years if they don't want to. So we try to connect them with alumni as well.
Dr. Nugent, there's a question.
Yeah, so so I think because there's other stuff going on, I'll release you guys, but if you still have a few minutes more of questions, you could come up and we'll take them. But I want to thank our science ambassadors.